So I recently saw, viewed or watched No Time to Die. No Time to Die. My brother told me in this other movie, Don't Look Up. I have this problem. That some guy was like bragging, my computer has an ability to tell exactly when you're going to die. And they say like it's through mathematical formulas. We can calculate how exactly you're going to die in your life. They can't. They just are abusing a Q source, and you can know about people's time to die. So they can give you the name of a person. They can switch your names and give you the name of the person who's really supposed to be dead. Some like gang date rapist. And he's supposed to die. You know, he's supposed to be dead. God wouldn't care really too much about this. But they can give you the names of these. This is exactly what it said in the Bible. He'd be crucified in the names of murderers and rapists and things. Because they'll change his name and try to make it easier to kill him. And make you more killable when they change it. Not exactly. It's very adulterous. God knows. As they tried to disembowel me and rip me apart. And then when it came down to the very, very inch of it, the very thread of flesh, it wouldn't happen. I always said it was a weird thing. I always liked that about philosophy. I study philosophy, and teleology, and fatalities and things. And like, you know, when you have a computer and something's not computing, and it comes up with this OK and cancel or OK. You know, the old computers, you know, like when you had like a computer, and there'd be a problem. It's like bloop bloop, like OK or cancel or OK or continue and OK computer. It doesn't happen really in life. It doesn't happen. So like you say, like, well, like gay men aren't supposed to cuddle or sleep together. But I always said, well, there's never this warning sign that just comes up on top of the situation and says, sorry, cannot compute. Sorry, cannot continue. And I always used to say, well, that doesn't happen in life. That never happens. But it did happen to me when they tried to kill me a few times. So it does actually happen, and that's an interesting thing then to say then, if two men are cuddling. Myself and Simon Amstel, like I don't like hamster that much, but you know what I mean. Simon Amstel's having a cuddle. He doesn't come up over him and say, sorry, you cannot compute. It happens. It's very, but then trying to kill me, it does not happen. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, King David or something. I don't know if that's what I was supposed to be saying. King David, was it? He was perfect. I had this in my head coming up the stairs. I don't know if it's what I wanted to say. He was perfect. Or it's your homo, bitches. Yeah, was it? Terrible memory loss, you know. As your Roar's gonna. And a full beer. It's your homo. Here is man. Here, it's your homo. Survey just behold man. That's what Pontius Pilate said about Jesus. I love Pontius Pilate. I thought Nietzsche was just trying to be a bit of a shock philosopher. Pontius Pilate's grand. I really think he's he turned into the whole. Everyone's like, "Et your homo, bitches." This kid. That's what it's like. This kid's perfect. Mary Poppins is practically perfect in every way. What the fuck is up? What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you, serpent-minded coward? Once again. Because there's lots of things, you know, Job wasn't anything. Job wasn't even religious, or he wasn't Jewish. And then you had somebody like maybe Elijah, or somebody, and lots of people who weren't explicitly Jewish. And then you had people who were Jews, and they said, oh, but you're not Judean Jewish. And then they were King David, and then you had perfect King David, and he was Judean Jewish. And they're like, oh, well, you're not tall enough, you know. This is always the exact same thing about Jehovah. He's perfect. And this is what God's trying to say is like, you know, make a point about it. So, well, I've finally given you a perfect person. Absolutely, practically perfect in every way. And what do you have? That's too perfect. And the same thing with Jesus, isn't it? No, it wasn't. Oh, that's what was on my head, yeah, backed up. Was it on my head? That's not what I wanted to say, though. I had a really neat bullet point proof thing to make. It's going to be a big thing. I can't remember now. Probably better for you. Yeah, you know, they call Jesus posh. That's what's funny. They call Jesus like a kind of posh boy. And if he wasn't posh, then they wouldn't have. They'd have called him the. You know, these are the things. Like, you can't win. You just can't win. This is the thing about succession and procession, and you know they just. That's what I was about to say. That's what I wanted to say. I recently watched. That's where we started this video. I recently watched No Time to Die. I got distracted. Yeah. No time to. And I like those modern Bond films. They deal well with like exoteric, not exoteric like theories. They deal well with them. You know, they deal with them in a nice way. I really like Battle Royale. Casino Royale was great. Daniel Craig was good. Now to say. I love Vesper as well. Vesper was amazing. Yeah. That was him. You know the guy with the weeping blood. That's him at the end. He didn't die. Like I said that to my friend. He's like, "That's a good theory," but in a Bond film, it's going to be a bit tricky. You see him in Venice, and he's hiding, and he has the glasses with the weird eye. That's him. Although you think he got, no, it wasn't. He got nailed later. Although you think he got killed. Oh yeah, because Mr. White pretends to kill him. So they're torturing Bond. And then Mr. White kind of comes in and pretends to kill the weeping blood guy. I can't remember his name. The gambler. And they pretend to shoot him in his head in front of Bond. But he's still alive. And that's what I said to my friends. Like, no, yeah, he was totally still alive. And then you see him at the end. And he's still alive. They faked the execution to save him because he was in so much trouble. So they just pretended his execution. What's this in a modern movie? In Casino Royale? The bitch is dead. Oh. Yeah, they do great with exoteric. I even got them that name, Numeric. You know, he's an American journalist turned like Illuminati. Thinks he's the Pope or something like that. Numeric, an octopus, and all that kind of crack. But I recently, finally, sorry, get to the point. Just trying to watch No Time to Die. I can't believe that girl was still in that film. Like she was so stiff. Stiff-lipped. It was terrible. Yeah, so Exoterica. It fits, you know, that's what exoterica. It's suitable. It fits. Governments use it all the time to explain situations. Everything your government tells you probably be exoteric. It fits in all the places. It's not exactly true. True. It's not exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about booba baby. Let's talk about private healthcare. Let's talk about the fact that all the richest and most powerful people in the world suddenly died at the same time. Let's talk about coronavirus. Let's talk about private healthcare. Let's talk about abortion clinics. Let's talk about stars. So in this movie, something obviously happened. I've seen this even in insurance commercials where they say, "What would you do if the whole world was changed and all the rich people suddenly died?" And this is what the movie tried to explain. It's like, how could all the rich and powerful people specifically die? I remember loads of people around, my friends and family, was like, "Do you know anybody that even be bothered by this?" This is my mother's t-shirt. I'm not sponsoring any sort of flag or any sort of King's Speech. I don't know, is it Fred Perry or something like this? I don't know what the fuck I'm wearing. It's my mama's old t-shirt. It's big and baggy. You know the way when you're like in America and you got a big baggy t-shirt? Or just the way I wear my big baggy t-shirts. Because like it means you're kind of backed up by some real big baggy cousin. And come down on me like a block of bricks. And I feel like I'm represented by heaven very well. So I like to wear big baggy t-shirts. And this is one of my mom's big baggy t-shirts. And then I'm back to my mama, you know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, in No Time to Die, they made a great assumption, a really good assumption. They obviously had some some sort of something, and they tried to say that it killed all the richest people in the world, but obviously all the richest people in the world were the people who probably made this kind of thing, and it got turned against them. Because how could something so powerful be turned against all the powerful people when they probably invented it? So that's what the kind of thesis of M, M in M16, and he kind of accepts responsibility for this kind of thing. We were developing it, and it got turned against the richest and most powerful people in the world. No, it's not true. The richest and most powerful people in the world aren't respecting true lordship. There's a lord out there, and they're not respecting him, and that's why they're all dying. That's why all the richest and most powerful and most important people are dying in the world, because they're not respecting one person. And this is why they're all putting in their boats. The boats. They're all scrapping. They've already done this. They scrapped all their luxury liners, because all of the people on those luxury liners got COVID, maybe AIDS, eugenic AIDS, or cancers and diseases, because they were partying. And this is a holy procession. They were partying in the holy procession, and they didn't have the Lord at the kind of top of the holy procession. One little hippie kid, like one insignificant hippie kid. If you took a block out of the bottom of a Jenga tower, if we took a block out of the very bottom of a Jenga tower, put it on the very top, it'd probably be a little more stable. It'd be a tiny bit more stable, but you wouldn't even notice what I'm saying. The people in between, from top to bottom, wouldn't even notice the difference. Would not even notice the difference. But this was the humility they couldn't afford, and this is why they're all dying on their boats, and particularly on their boats. If they're living in luxury, while the Lord per se is starving in a ditch on the side of the motorway. And they're all living it up. They will all die and perish from Passover for that respect, because it was supposed to be a holy procession. Chicago, you know what I mean? Titanic. It was like there was supposed to be somebody at the very top of this procession, not always like physically at the top of this procession, but was supposed to be there. And there's a whole lineage of people behind them that needed to be just free and not bother and be in the way of everyone else, and they lost their true lordship. Titus Crown, what do you want me to do that? So that's why they all died. So that's what I selected. I liked the exoteric device that was supplied in No Time to Die, but the reason all the richest people in the world is Passover. It's more like to do Passover. They're just not respecting true lordship. And even if he's perfect, like it does when I went up to Judean, they just find it a very hard time accepting him. They have a very hard time, and I can appreciate it a bit. Like say if I was some of Windsor in a Buckingham Palace, and then this is what's funny about it. And I heard of some like Irish traveller kid that like needed to inherit all of and not all of, you know what I mean, but like. He was kind of, it's not like he's displacing anybody. Like I said in the Jenga tower, you're not exactly displacing anybody. It's all supposed to remain the same if there's no too much kerfuffle. Nobody ought to be displaced by putting the one kid. And China do this, they just put the one kid in the fucking throne, and it's not a bother to anybody. But if they don't do this, then you're all fucked, you're all sour milk, So they have a hard time. No, as I was saying, I would appreciate that. I'd have a hard time if I was told explicitly that, like, my family have been reigning and helping, the country, or the empire that you're in, to a massive and great extent, and then it just turns out you have to give it all away to some traveller child. And this is I'm talking about like British royalty. And if you think about it and look about it, I know you won't know this. You won't know this, to see. I've one or two honest traveller friends. Like I don't know if a traveller family I'm honest friends with well, one of their sons, Joe, that's his guitar. That's the little acoustic guitar that I play. That's Joe's guitar. And I'm still great friends with his brothers and family. I still have their Christmas presents. I don't mean to drop in names. The one, well, they all bear his family resemblance. This family resemblance. I know blatantly in the eyes of Prince Harry. Blatantly in the eyes and face of Prince Harry. Tom Pops. Tom Pops. Yeah, he's an Irish traveller. And it probably happened before, maybe under Elizabeth or something, where they mirrored on the wall, and there was supposed to be some Irish traveller of them all, or some person of them all, and there was an Irish traveller, and they just took the Irish traveller kid aside. And then you get J.R. Tolkien, it was J.R. Rowling, the kind of traveller girl, traveller lady, who wrote some kind of sarcastic novel about little Harry that got to go away to Hogwarts. Little Harry that got to go away to England. Little ginger Harry that got to go away and be royalty. And she wrote this very controversial. Everybody loves Harry Potter, and it's been overinflated, completely overinflated. Little ginger Ron, but like a little Irish family, and there's and he was like, it's kind of probably in the home or care of some settled traveller family. And he was kind of technically living under the stairs, for an extent, or what they said about him. But yes, little Harry. So loads of yous are worth a fortune. When them drop some bombs, I'll let you know about this while I'm here. But I'm going to go down to 6. Loads of you people are worth a fortune. Profane price tag. It wouldn't put a price tag on it. It wouldn't quantify or qualify the matter of people's beings. Loads of yous are worth an absolute fucking fortune. Technically, no, I'm not being that advocate. I'm not being coming in between this. I don't even want to say this is a reality. Virtually, basically, what I'm trying to say is so many of you people are so wonderful, particularly under Christianity, particularly under the stability or under the shoulders of the giant of Christianity. A lot of you people are worth a fucking fortune. You won't ever know about it. And there's people out there like pseudo royalty, French royalty, and so we know what's best for their money, and we know what's best, and we'll keep an eye on them, and we'll give them tutelage and support, and we'll watch over them, and Courtney Love and Dean Kirkavane and Mr. Goldstein is watching over our children. Mr. Goldstein's in our wills. You're probably much better with the Catholic Church, but or like the church, but they don't jump into the ditches in their burgundy. Like, they've got so much gorgeous robe. Although the gorgeous robes would be good against the thorns, wouldn't they? I was practically naked when I was running through all those thorn branches. But the gorgeous robes would be helpful if you're diving into a ditch after sheep. But they don't anyway. That's what I'm saying. The Catholic Church don't dive in like the shepherd in the Bible that dives in to the ditch to save his flock on any given Sunday. Wouldn't care. You're leaving your flock vulnerable a bit if you dive into a ditch. I'm sure that if you do this, though, every wolf would recognize this. Like the Lord's recognizing your heroism, so your flock won't be vulnerable while you're diving in after lost sheep. The British are the same. They don't dive in. They do not dive in. And I thought that was so strange. The BBC, you know what I mean? They won't dive in after you, man. I thought it was because they don't want to. If you think about it, they're dynasties and legacies. And the Pope as well, like, he's got his immobiliare and he's got his this. They won't dive in after you. They've got, apparently to them, too much to lose for caring about somebody. And then they get hauled up in hostage and situations and controversies. So it's like the Queen, Elizabeth II, and long live and reign. Protector of the Swan. What's the name of Queenie? Lizzie? Said goodbye to the circus. Off she went with the humpty trump. Good Elizabeth. Hello, Denmark was calling, but Nazis far away. Elizabeth said, "Go fuck yourselves, I'm going to my way." Yeah, miss Lizzie. You're gonna miss Lizzie anyway. Well, long live the Queen. You know they're all singing that in America. You're gonna long live the King. No, I'm gonna be singing "Long Live the Queen" for a good fucking jubilee. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? I can't remember. Nelly and Ellie the elephant, Elizabeth. Ellie the elephant packed her bags and said goodbye to Denmark. With the faces I like you. Yeah, no, I don't know what I was talking about, man. Ever seen Memento? I'm a JG. Get me out of here. No, I don't know what I was talking about. I gave Russia a mosaic. I don't know what they're called. I reckon the Jews have and the Jews Jesus have a name for the proposition that Moses brought to the Pharaoh. They probably have a word for it. I should have. Bob Dylan did this, you know. I came up and down, go away, and I let him go away, and he came up, go away, and by the third time it's like, his name's Bob Dylan. He writes some wonderful songs. It is so super dude. Like, I've only been angry twice in my life. The records, man. I've only been angry twice in my life. No Direction Home. Yeah, it's really good. It's a good. I'm just gonna say, on the cover of No Direction Home, it's an interesting photograph. You'll see Bob Dylan standing out the back of his limousine, I suppose, and you'll see at the side end of the road. He knew he was being followed by some paparazzi. People were stalking him, and he told the driver to go out to the end of the road. And then the paparazzi followed him all the way out to the end of the road. And then he just got out of the taxi and turned around and just stared at them and was like, what? What are you looking at? Here we are, end of the road. and he got the photograph. What's so funny about it, he actually procured and purchased the photograph of himself at the end of the road, turning around to the paparazzi and saying, what? End of the road. No Direction Home. Oh, Bobby. My name's Robert, man. Yes, all my knowledge of propane and propane accessories have been stolen from me. Have you ever seen that? I never liked King of Dave. I thought it was creepy, but that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. If you want to watch it, Mick Thompson or something might find that out. I'm going to take all your knowledge of propane and propane accessories. This stole all my knowledge of Bob Dylan. Hours upon hours, it's all gone. About lots of other stuff, I imagine. Explicitly, you know that. I'm going to steal all your knowledge of propane and propane accessories. I think I might like Redneck Fest. I was looking at Redneck Fest online. I think I might like that, but it'll probably show up a little too timid. Drive in an RV or something. All them Christians in America can't wait to meet me. Everyone, Islam can't wait for me. LGBTQ community squared can't wait for me. You gonna love it? Well, that's my little bell there. It's too late. my friend used to like him. He said like he used to use noises of instruments, cacophonies. Yeah, waster stoners, they can't play instruments. It is weird looking. I realise like, professionalism to amateurism. Amateurs can be so charming compared to professionals that seem so boring. Tom Green, Tom Green is like the perfect definition of this. Doesn't realise people saw Tom Green skateboarding, and he looked amazing. He looked and he was a good skater. He could even backs and switch out of backside and jump and do things and do nice board slides and stuff. But people saw him, and just whoa, he's the best skater in the world, man. He's pro. It's just funny, it's just weird. People do kind of like amateurs and things, fluky amateurs more so. Professionals are a bit boring, maybe, a bit too neat. No alarms and no surprises. It just seems too neat and plain. You wouldn't know the ability that's put into it. And weird little fluke artists are kind of exciting. Cobain and yeah. Skateboarding. That's what I realised. Quality of professionalism. When I heard John Dillo, it's not his actual name. Dillo, D-I-L-O. It was not his real name. It's like he kind of sounds like did he have a Mexican name? I can't remember. He had a good name. Nice guy, but he wasn't being snobby. But I heard him just talking about other skaters, and then I just saw this loads and loads. Actual professionalism. There's so many skateboarders out there, and they can do so much. But then actual professionalism. And woo, woo, after little tricks, and then dancing. Oh, yeah, like for landing. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know, what would you do? Person registered it. And yeah, I figured I'd play a bit. Auditioning here now for Mr. Nichols. But I got some good ideas. Like I wouldn't mind doing the filmmaker, as well as the doppelgangers and false prophets all over Ireland, going around being the filmmakers. And they're working with all the filmmakers because I'm like awesome. There's so many ideas for films. I'll use it anyway. Let's go and try to build it. Are you a pleasure bot, Osimo? Totally not cool. Totally not